Vrindavan Mahimamrita ki jai. Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur ki jai. We're on chapter 6. It's text 92. Anyone has a book, they can join us. Om Ganatamandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Gurim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurundinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Radha Krishna Sukili Talpa Rachana Lolali Brindam Rasa Vaishan Mata Mriga Dvija Drumam Lata Brindam Maha Mohanam Divyaneka Nikunja Punja Ruchiram Divyora Ratnastali Ramyam Divyasara Sarin Manigiri Dhyayami Vrindavanam. I'm sure Rasik Vaishnavas that are learned in Kavya and Sahitya and Sanskrit, and of course they're Rasik, they can really fly very far with these verses and the words in these verses. Unbelievable. Each verse you could spend years on. And not me, but they can. Glorifying Radharani and Krishna and Vrindavan. You can get, in other words, if you come in a room and you say, wow, it really smells like roses in here. And someone said, I don't see any roses. But just before you came in that room, they had packed up 50,000 roses in bags and took them out of that room. So that room is saturated with a fragrance. It's lingering fragrance of those 50,000 rose flowers is still wafting in the air of that room. The rose flowers have been relocated or moved at 2 or 3 hours before. In the same way, these verses are like rooms full of lotus flowers. And they're so fragrant. At least we can appreciate the fragrance of these verses. That there's 50,000 different meanings and 50,000 different fragrances of rasa and bhav and purity and attraction and attachment and prema in every one of these verses. But unfortunately, I'm that weak honeybee stuck on the outside of the honey jar that doesn't have enough strength to open the lid. And even all the honeybees together can't open the lid of that honey jar. It takes one bear. It takes one big bad bear to come and open it up and distribute it all to the bees. So the big bear is the mercy of Guru. But most people can't bear it, so they don't receive it, because the weight of that mercy is so great. If you fully receive the weight of the Guru's mercy, it's interesting because bear means balu, and then heavy means bhara. B-E-A-R means to carry a weight, to bear a weight. And that's the bare fact, B-A-R-E. The bare fact that we can't bear the heavy weight of the Guru's mercy. Because if we accept that mercy, then our material life is finished. And that we're afraid of giving up. We're holding on in various ways. At any rate, back to the verse. Radha Krishna Sakeli Talpa Rochana Lolali Vrindam. Lolali Vrindam Rasa. In this abode of Vrindavan, the gopis were busy decorating a beautiful flower bed for the pleasure of Radha Shyam. Due to ecstatic love for Radha and Krishna, the deer, birds and trees and latas and creepers have become intoxicated. There are many transcendental groves in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is decorated with mandaps, raised platforms bedecked with jewels, ratna mandap. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpas Jumadan Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto. In Vrindavan there are many lakes, rivers and mountains on which I constantly meditate. Well, we can ask ourselves, we know there's many lakes in Vrindavan, Brajmandal, Trasikosh, Vrindavan. Do we ever meditate on them? Meditate on those lakes doesn't mean you meditate on some dirt surrounding a body of water, and you meditate on some water inside a cavity of earth. But meditating on those lakes means you meditate on the rasa-filled pastimes there. Because a lake is not only a lake, externally lake of water, but it's a lake of ras. Pavan ras, Sham ras, Pavan Sarovars, Pavan ras, Radha ras, Sham ras. Then it's Sakhi ras, Amanasi Ganga, and all these places where the cowherd boys, Dohani Kund and Damuna is there. Many kunds are there. Banu Kund, and you meditate in Yashoda Kund in Varsana, and that kund is full of Vatsalya ras. That's where Yashoda washes baby Krishna sometimes in Yashoda Kund. In Nandagram, Yashoda Kund. There's Nanda Kund. So these kunds are full of ras. So rasa means liquid, rasa means water, rasa means taste, and rasa means mellow of ecstatic love. That's what it means to meditate on the lakes. Meditate on the ras dhyanam, ras lila dhyanam. Ras lila doesn't just mean dancing. All the rasas are lila. Sakhi lila is ras lila. Vatsalya lila is ras lila. When you go to the quote unquote the ras lila performances done by the Brahmin boys in Vrindavan, they show all kinds of lilas. Not only gopis and Krishna, but they show Krishna and Balaram stealing Nanda Baba's clothes. That's a popular one. He goes bathing in the month of Magh. He wants to get some punya. Nanda Maharaj is observing the Shastras, because every pious Hindu is supposed to bathe before sunrise in the month of Magh. Everybody knows that, right? Yeah, sure, if you say so. But it's in the Padma Purana, Skanda Purana, and every Purana, and the Garga Samhita. So Vrajvasis, they follow the Shastra Vidi Nisheded. He's following the rules and regulations of his Varna and Ashram. So he is the guru for his family. Guru Shishya Pitarona Shishya should not become a father unless you can liberate. So maybe Mother Yashoda is not bathing in the early morning in the cold waters of Jamuna in the month of Magh, but certainly Nanda Maharaj is to benefit his wife, because she automatically gets 50%. Of course, they don't need it, but this is their Nara Leela. They're showing example. When Krishna comes here, he does lots of examples. He does a lot of good examples of what we can't do, and a lot of examples of what we should do. We can't steal other people's wives and dance with them in the middle of the night, but we can go to work every day and bring home the money. So Krishna showed that example. He went out every day and he worked. And he brought home the milk with the cows. That was his work, quote unquote work. Of course, it's all Leela. There's no work there. It's Gocharan Leela, Goshtha Leela. So this is a translation here that the Padakarta Saraswati Pada is meditating on all these wonderful features. And of course, his meditation always leads him to the Alamban Vibhav, Premashraya and Prem Vishaya, Radha and Krishna, then all the ensuant udipans, or exciting, stimulating factors, the environment, the birds and lakes and creepers and trees, who are all contributing to the ecstasy and the ulas of Radha and Krishna's love. Radha Krishna Sukeli Kalpa Rochana Alali Vrindarasam Veshan Mata Mriga Dvija. All the animals are mad. It says they're intoxicated. Mata Mriga, the deer. Dvija Drumam Lata Brindam. That's nice. Dvija Druma Lata Brindam Maha Mohanam. Veshan Lalali Brindam Rasa Veshan Mata Mriga. Mata Mriga Dvija. They're all mad, they're intoxicated, and they're overwhelmed with the greatest illusion. That Mahamonam, because the word is used twice here, Veshan Matamriga. Matamriga Dvija Druma Lata Vrindam Mahamohanam. So in between Mahamohanam and Mata, you have the deer, the birds, the Druma, the Kapaldruma, wish-fulfilling trees, and the Latam, and the forest creepers. So what this means is that all become intoxicated by relishing the Mahamohanam. The Mahamohanam is the effulgence and the feelings of the Divyonmad, the Modanaikyam Mahabhava of Radharani. Because all the animals, including Krishna, they're all connected to Radharani. Krishna's pleasure is the pleasure of his devotees, and the supreme devotee is Radharani. So all the animals, they're all serving Radharani to serve Krishna. Their aim and focus of their service is Radharani. They glorify Krishna because Radharani wants them to. They sing and prance because Radharani wants them, because Krishna likes to hear the birds sing and see the deer prance about. So Brinda Devi knows the heart of Radharani because Brinda Devi is Radharani's heart's expression for Leela. So then Brinda Devi, the first in command is Radharani, second in command is Brinda Devi. She's the localized Leela Stali commander. And the whole field commander for Braj Mandal is Yogamaya Purnamasi. She's handling the Air Force and the ground troops, the tanks, the artillery, everything. but Brinda Devi, she's only handling Madhurya Leela directly. And she's serving there side by side with Lita and Rupa Manjari. Hands on. But you won't find Purnamasi there at that time. But you'll find Brinda Devi. So they're mad, mata, intoxicated because of the Mahamonam, relishing in their own way that ecstatic bliss that Krishna experiences when Radharani displays her Mohanaikya, Mohan. Mahamohana means her Mohanakya Mahabhava. Madan and Mohan. Divyaneka, Nikunja Punja, Divyoro, Ratnas, everything's transcendental. Kunjas. Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada Saraswati, meditates on Vrindavan. And what does he meditate in Vrindavan? Meditates in Vrindavan, the place where many affectionate gopi friends of Radha and Krishna prepare a beautiful flower bed for Radha and Krishna's pastimes. In Vrindavan, the deer, the birds, trees and vines are intoxicated with the Mahamonam, the nectar of love, which is very charming. Beautiful. Vrindavan is very charming, Ruchiram, and beautiful with many splendid Divyaneka, Nikunjas, and jeweled inlaid platforms. Delightful with jeweled pathways, and filled with everything splendid, filled with glistening, ecstatic bodies of water, streams and jeweled mountains. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, when he's giving the purport, and the Gopi, I think it's Venu Geet, or Haridas Varya, that's Venu Geet. And Haridas Varya, Venu Geet, the Gopis are glorifying Giridhari as the greatest of all the servants, Haridas Varya. And therein, Vishnu Chakravarti Pad, he in his tika on that verse from chapter 21 of 10th canto, Venu Geet, he explains all the different sevas that Giridhari, the Giriraj rather, renders for Shyam Sundar and Radharani's pleasure pastimes. For example, it says he provides polished stones for the Radha and Krishna use as mirrors when Krishna is brushing Radharani's hair. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahimam. That is our protector. We're protected by someone who's connected to Radharani. If someone's not connected to Radharani, we have no connection with them. So Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahimam. Pahimam means he's my protector. Keshav, that personality who's expert at dressing and combing and brushing and braiding the hair of Srimati Radhika. Radharani holds a polished stone from Giriraj in front of her face, and normally when a woman holds a mirror in front of her face, she talks to the mirror, and the mirror speaks to her. Do you know what they say to each other? The lady looking in the mirror asks a question to the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? And the mirror shouts loudly in her ear, you! You are the fairest, you're the most beautiful and attractive girl in the whole of Delhi, even India, the universe. You are it. And then you say, that's all I needed to hear, Mr. Mira. And then that's the last thing you hear in your ears when you walk out the door to hit the city streets. Here I am. Oh, excuse me. How long have you been working in this multinational company? Oh, true. Can I have your cell number? Sure. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's Maya. That's not the forest of Vrindavan with Radha and Krishna. That's a forest of material enjoyment that we're always meditating on. So we have to take our meditation out of the forest of material enjoyment and place it in the forest of Vrindavan. Text 93. Madhyat Shri Krishna Radham Madakala Sakalam Stasnu Sachari Satvam Madhyat Kandarpa Darpa Patipada Garimon Mata Bushambaradi Madhyat Kalenda Tarayati Madavishvasha Snigdha Gopala Bala Brindam Brindavanam Tat Swayam Api Samadam Bhati Bhuyo Rasoge. Radha and Krishna are fully absorbed in ecstasy in the forest of Vrindavan. Out of love for Sri Krishna, all the animate and inanimate living entities of this Vrindavan are always intoxicated. The pride of Cupid, Damba, is defeated here at every step. The sun and moon of Vrindavan are also fully intoxicated. Such are the glories of Vrindavan, which is adorned with cowherd boys and girls, and which continuously showers ambrosia on everyone. Now, let's hear a second translation. Filling Sri Radha Krishna with intense amorous love, and also having the effect of intoxicating all moving and unmoving living entities, and having the effect of crushing Kamadev's passionate pride, and throwing and disarraying his clothing and ornaments, and driving the moon and stars and the gopis mad with ecstatic joy. This is the glories of Vrindavan, which makes it shine with great splendor. These are the glories of Vrindavan, which make it shine with great splendor. So Vrindavan does all these things. Defeats Cupid, intoxicates the moon and the sun. When a person gets intoxicated by whiskey, sometimes he doesn't move. He gets stamba. And it's not an astik sattvic bhav. He's just plain drunk. And his motor functions don't work. His nervous system is not connecting with his muscles. He says, I want to move, but I can't. Sit right here. So it's telling, Saraswati Pad is telling that the Chandra Dev, and the Nakshatra Devis, 27 Devis, it's basically, it's all, if you go deep into all these verses from these Rasa Shastras, if you study them, everything they're saying, especially Kavi Karnapur, everything he's saying, all the analogies and all the comparisons, it's all about conjugal love. It's all evoking conjugal love in Madhurya, Sringar Ras. He talks about this bird and that bird, this female bird and that female bird, and this lata and this tree, the tree's male, the lata's female. Everywhere, the underlying thing, the underlying mood and mellow is Parakya Bhav, Sringar Ras. Because Vrindavan means Sringar Ras. Everything else is just a supporting character, supporting setting for the enhancement of Sringar Ras. The gopis, just like a tree, if a tree just has leaves but no flowers and fruits, it's not so attractive. So some trees, they have leaves, always of course, and then some places the flowers are there and some places the fruits are there in the same tree. because different sides of the tree get different sunlight and they mature at different rates. So they give in flowers, and then some fruits have fallen. So any given tree may have flowers, may have fruits. So they're all enhancing the beauty and attractiveness of that tree. In a similar way, the tree of Vrindavan has so many various players in the drama of Krishna's Leela. But this is Krishna's place. This is Radha's place and Krishna's place. And everyone else is serving the center. The center is Radha and Krishna. There is no other center. The center is not the coward boys or Yashoda. The center is Radha and Krishna. And everything expands from them, that center, and revolves about that center and serves that center to enhance their joy and bliss. So to increase the joy and ecstasy of Shringar Ras, a mother is necessary, a mother-in-law is necessary, a father is necessary, coward boys are necessary, cows, birds, everything is necessary. Otherwise, the whole setting of Vrindavan would just be one big kunja. There would just be one big flower bed, and that's it. But our Mahajanacharya is citing so many shastras to support the idea, or the tattva, explain it like this. Here, we're hearing about the intoxication of the moon, Chandradeva, and the nakshatras. There's 27 nakshatras, and they're all female. Rohini, Swati, Anuradha, Mrigashirsha, Magha, Danishta, Mrigashirsha, Kritika, Ambharani, Satabisha, Purva Falguni, Purva Bhadra, Uttara Falguni, Uttara Bhadra, Uttara Shada, Purva Shada, and it goes on like this. There's 27 of them, and they're all the wives they're all the girlfriends of Chandradev. He's a Brahmin. Chandradev's a Brahmin, and he has his wife also. I can't remember her name. It's like Indra has Sachi, and Brahma has Saraswati, and Vishnu has Lakshmi, Surya has Samgya Devi, and Chaya Devi. But so he has his primary wife, Chandradev, Tara, as Vishnu has Lakshmi, but Lakshmi wants to run with Krishna, as you know. So Chandradev, he's running across the sky at night, like Radha and Krishna having Rasa Leela in Vrindavan. He's running across the sky with his girlfriends. And the girlfriends of the moon are the nakshatras. 27 nakshatras. His wife is home in the palace. And so when Chandradev sees this Vrindavan, these forests, and this Radha and Krishna, and the ecstasy here, he becomes intoxicated. And all of his girlfriends become intoxicated. This is the intention of Saraswati Pad, to show the intoxication of the Shringar Rasa of Radha and Krishna is so powerful that it intoxicates the moon. Because but realistically speaking, everything is consciousness. Even in the material plane, the background is consciousness with some overlay of what we call prakriti. But in Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan, the moon is not the material moon, it's the spiritual moon. In Vrindavan, the stars are not the material stars, they're the spiritual stars. It's explained in Brahma Samhita that all the demigods have their spiritual prototypes. They have their prototypes in the spiritual world. The spiritual Brahma and the spiritual Shiva. They're all there. It's Nitya Leela. Then they have their expanded forms in this plane. So the sun, there's a sun there. Otherwise, how does Radharani have Surya Puja every day? She has Surya Puja, and they have days there and time there, but it's transcendental time. And transcendental moon and a transcendental sun. At any rate, the idea is it's just to get, whether the specifics are correct or incorrect, it's not important. But the principle of how the Sringar Rasa is pervading the viewpoint, Atmanam Manya Te Jagat. The Madhurya Bhaktas, like Tunga Vidyasaki, who is Saraswati Pad, they can't help but see their center everywhere. The center of Tunga Vidya's life is Radha and Krishna. And their Sringar Rasa, because she's Nashta Saki. So that's why Vrindavan Mahimamrita has so much anukulya for the devotees, Madhurya Bhaktas, Braja Madhurya Bhaktas, Raganuga Bhakti. The viewpoint, to associate with Saraswati Pad, his viewpoint, his bhav, his angle of vision, his realizations, his prayers, his visions, his spurtis. These are all very purifying, elevating, and joy-producing. Divya Shri Parijata Yati Ruchira Vane Shabhamanam Ananter Ashantas Tvam Tu Sanchintaya Haricharanai Kanta Bhavam Bahadvi Shriman Brindavtavim Tam Sakala Suraganer Manditam Indukoti Jochnai Kambhori Magnam Urubir Upanishad Brinda Britap Yagam Yam. The forest of Vrindavan is decorated with transcendental desire trees like the Parijat. One should always meditate on Vrindavan, which the demigods worship. Vrindavan has unalloyed devotion for Sri Hari Charan, the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Well, let's say Sri Hari means Radha and Krishna. Vrindavan is an ocean of millions of moon's rays. Even the Upanishads cannot properly glorify the land of Vrindavan. Jyochnai Kambudi Magnam Urubir Indu Koti Suraganer Banditam Indu Koti, millions of moon rays. The Jyoti Ambudi Magnam Urubir, the power, Urubir. Vrindavan is so powerful and so effulgent that millions of rays of the moon get submerged in the ocean of the effulgence of Vrindavan. Indu Koti. Indu means moonbeams. Koti means millions. They're effulgent. So millions of moonbeams, they get Magnam, Urubir, that powerful effulgence of Vrindavan easily defeats the Jyoti, the Jyotsna. The Jyoti Ambudi is an ocean. So the whole moon, just like it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting actually, because we read in the 8th canto, there's a particular, it describes the appearance that Chandradev appeared from the churning of the milk ocean. Because Chandra is white and so is milk. Daddy, why is the moon white in color? In the daytime, the little baby asks, Daddy, why is the sky blue? And at nighttime he says, how come the moon is not blue? The sky is blue. Daddy, why is the moon white? Well, son, in the 8th canto of Bhagavatam, it explains when the Devasura Mantan, Kir Samudra Mantan, when the demons and demigods were churning the milk ocean, Lakshmi Devi came out, Airavata came out, Mohini came out, Dhanvantari came out, the nectar came out, and also Chandra, the moon. The moon came out. So this is what Saraswati Pad, because that's why in order to understand Sahitya or literature or Kavi, they need to understand Naya, need to understand Rasa Tattva, need to understand the Tattvas and the whole Bhagavatam especially. Because he's playing on all that, then he's churning out these rasa-filled rasa grants. So he's saying, okay, my dear Mr. Moon, you rose from the ocean at the churning of the milk. That milk ocean is fantastic proportions. It's huge. Mount Meru was just sitting in the middle of it. Mount Meru is 50 million yojanas wide or something. So Kir Samudra is not some small-time Atlantic Ocean or Pacific Ocean. It makes the Atlantic Ocean look like a drop of water. It makes the Pacific Ocean look like half a teardrop. So Saraswati Pad is saying that Vrindavan, let's compare Vrindavan. Oh, the moon is so much glowing. And okay, it's glowing. The full moon lights up the entire Earth planet. The entire universe is lit up by the moon planet at night. This one universe. And the sun lights it up in the day. But what about take millions of those moon planets, Indukoti? Nothing. Vrindavan will put the moon back in the ocean. Go back to the ocean. You're not even born. You don't even exist. There's no need for your effulgence. Indukoti Jyotsna Ambu. Then it says Urubir. This is the power, the strength of Vrindavan's effulgence, that it can sink millions of moons into the ocean, it can absorb into its own own effulgence. Just like a meteor. A meteor is this huge thing, and it's flying through space, and hits an airplane, it can knock it off to destroy buildings. Big meteors. But when they fall in the middle of the ocean, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's like a piece of a pebble falls in a lake. So the same way, millions of moons can submerge. It says Magnam. It says Jyotsnaik, certainly Aika, Jyoti Ambudi Magnam. Submerged in that ocean of the greatness and power of Vrindavan. And I'm telling you about that Vrindavan, and I'm trying to reveal something about it because I'm Tunga Vidyasakhi. And I'm seeing that effulgence. I'm living in it. I'm moving in it. I'm dancing through it. I'm running through it on the full moon night, dressed in white. I'm covered with white chandan on my face and silence my ankle bells and kinkini mala. So no one hears me as I run out for the Avisar with Sham, to serve Radharani in the kunjas of Vrindavan in the midnight on Purnima. But I'm telling you something so you get a glimpse of it by Sadhu Sangha. But even the Upanishads, who are the crest jewel of all the Vedas, the Upanishads are the essence of all the Vedas and Shrutis that contain the Upanishads. They can't figure it out. They couldn't reveal this to you. They don't understand. You won't find this fact in the Upanishads. Like sometimes a professor, he's teaching in school, he's saying, what I'm going to tell you now, you're not going to find in your textbook. It's something I've realized by teaching this subject for 25 years. Someone opens up their ears. That's the true teacher. Have you ever experienced? Not that he just goes for one word by word in the textbook. Beautiful. Without ever becoming tired, don't fall asleep. Meditate. Akhanda Vrindavan Dhyan Ki. Day, morning, afternoon, and night, meditate on Vrindavan. Don't sleep. Vrindavan is glorious with countless charming forests. These parijats are full of fragrant, blossoming parijat trees. Vrindavan is worshipped by the demigods who are full of love for the lotus feet of Sri Hari, which means Vishnu. Sri Hari is the name for Vishnu. Plunged into the ocean of the light of millions of moons. Unapproachable even by the hosts of the Upanishads. Sakala Suraganer Vanditam Vandanam Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Parasevanam Archanam Vandanam. All the Sakala Suragan Vanditam, all the demigods are worshipping this Vrindavan. Interesting, he said, don't sleep. That's nice translation. Vija Sri Parijat Adi Ruchira Vane Shabamana Manante Ashantas Tvam. Ashantas Tvam means you. No shrama, no fatigue. Don't get tired. And I guess that's the idea. Always meditate. Always means no sleep. The fullest extent of always. Always is an absolute word. Always means forever, every moment, always. With a perfectly fixed mind. Complete chinta, with all your thoughts. So he missed it then. Sanchintya means always meditate, or fully absorb all your thoughts. But he missed the not sleeping part. Pray to Vrindavan, to the Saraswati, he's giving us this order. He's telling us, you do this. And I say, well, if I accept you as guru, then you have to accept me as your chela, shishya. And if I'm your chela, then when you give me an order, because I'm your shishya, then you have to give me the power in your order to carry it out. So your order is to not sleep. Ashrantas tvam, sanchintayam. That sanchintya, with all your concentrated thoughts, all your concentration of mental power and thoughts, all your thinking and feeling and willing should be fixed on this meditation of Vrindavan, which is so beautiful and so effulgent and so saturated with Krishna prema. You don't even sleep. That's your order to me. So, Guruji, please bless me. Let me try to carry it out at least one day a month. Or 2 days a month I won't sleep on Ekadasi. I'll do Jagran. Hear about the glories of Vrindavan throughout the night and chant Radha Krishna Yuga Mantra throughout the night. The glories of the Bhagavat throughout the night. This is the way to go. Sleepless nights. Sleepless days. Nidra hara vihara kari vijato chatyanta dino chayo Radha Krishna guna smriter madhurima nandena sammohito Vande rupa sanatano raghuyago Sri Jiva Gopalako Sadguru Swami's Vrindavan Dhama ki jai. I guess associating with the books long enough by vicarious learning, you learn some Sanskrit. Prabhupada is so wonderful. By following Prabhupada's daily program in ISKCON after 23 years, he became a Sanskrit scholar. Every day, today's, okay, repeat the verse, word for word meaning. I remember in the beginning I used to think, oh, get on with it, will you? Why do we have to go word for word? He says, Ashrantas, Ashrantas, tired, tired. But after a while it starts to sink in and you read a verse in Sanskrit and you know all the words. And then trying to figure out the concepts or the meaning, then the verbs and whatnot, that's maybe something else. And I don't know any Sanskrit, obviously. I'm not about to translate any books. But it's another plus or credit to Srila Prabhupada that he didn't leave us as fools. He didn't leave his children as fools. He taught us philosophy, and he taught us devotion, and he taught us surrender, and he taught us dedication. And he taught us how to do puja, and how to do kirtan, and how to preach and help others. He taught us how to cook, how to clean our bodies and clean the room and clean the hearts of ourselves and everyone in the universe. And he taught us Sanskrit. He taught us singing and bhajans. He taught us poetry and literature. He taught us everything. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudeva ki jai. Forever indebted to our ever well-wisher. Text 95. Asmin dustra gora samstri taro tapat trayena sinasham. Brattastam shlishtos yativa na manak prapnoshi sandukshanam. Naikam saranamasti shastra mahad akyatam tavakyatum ap yantash chintaya tadare priyatanu brinda tavi shaki. Oh brothers, day and night you are constantly suffering from the threefold material miseries. I think that includes brothers and sisters. I don't think sisters are excluded from that suffering. Brothers and sisters, you are not able to attain the slightest peace of mind. Yes. Yes and yes. Yes, I'm suffering miseries. And yes, I'm not peaceful. You have no alternative. Yes, I have no alternative. You do not know about the scriptures. Yes, I don't know the scriptures. And you don't know about the famous topics of Lord Hari. Yes. Yeah. Therefore, you stupid. We stupid. We and you and everyone should simply meditate on the trees of Vrindavan, which are very dear to Sri Hari. Now that's an amazing, that shows you the trees are considered somewhat impersonal. They're in Shantaras. They don't speak, at least to most of us, although they do speak to great sages. This is the point. So this verse is telling us that if we just meditate on the trees, we'll get a lot of benefits. We'll get free. If we meditate on the trees in Vrindavan, what will happen? We'll get 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 benefits by Briksha Dhyanam, according to this verse as it's translated. What are the 4 benefits we get from Druma Dhyanam? Kalpa Drumam Dhyanam, or the benefits by meditating on the trees of Vrindavan. One is that we will no longer suffer the miseries, the threefold miseries, Adi Bhautika miseries, Adi Daivika, Adi miseries, and we'll attain peace of mind. And we'll learn something we'll understand the scriptures. And then we'll understand something about the fame of Uttama Shloka Krishna. We'll understand something about the name, form, fame of Krishna. All of that's possible by meditating on the trees of Vrindavan. Brother and sister, are you trapped in a jungle of repeated birth and death? Can you find not even a moment's relief from the threefold sufferings? Your body and mind gives you suffering, other people's body and minds give you suffering, and the natural disturbances of heat, cold, and humidity, and dryness and wetness are also giving you misery? Don't you learn how to escape by hearing the words of the scriptures? Simply meditate in your heart on the trees of Vrindavan, which are so dear to Lord Krishna. So the 2 translations we have at hand are encouraging us to meditate on the trees. Does that mean any tree? Yes, it means any tree, but especially trees that are saturated with the Leela Vrikshas, like Vamshivat. Vamshivat is a place that we honor and we worship. We do prikama, we offer ghee lamps and flowers and do puja to the banyan tree. And the Keli Kadamba tree at Kaliyadaha, we circumambulate that tree and offer obeisances to it. And then we do puja there with incense and flowers and ghee lamps. And all these various trees of Vrindavan, we worship them because they're Leela Vrikshas. And the Tadiyanam Smarchanam, as the Lord is worshipable, everything is connected to Him as worshipable. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Saptaka 4, we're discussing about the Brijvasis, the glories of the Brijvasis. And this particular point is about how rare it is to get the remnants, to actually get the remnants of a Brijvasi. It's very, very rare. Nice verse. This is from chapter 4, verse 86. So we can chant this verse. This is 486. Api mama koti bhavante bhavatu param tadrisho deha Vrindavanam arivasatam Uchishtaika spriha bhavet yatra. Saraswati Pad is praying, let me receive a transcendental body, even after millions of lifetimes, so that I can desire to survive only on the remnants of the residents of Vrindavan. So he's, in this verse, he's extolling it. It says, Uchishtaika spriha bhavet yatra. Vrindavanam adivasatam. He says living in Vrindavan means somehow getting the remnants of the Brijvasis, their food remnants, what they've honored, their Gopal Bhog, Gopal Prasad, Mahaprasad, or Giriraj Mahaprasad, or Krishna Mahaprasad, their Radharas Bihari Mahaprasad. That he's saying that even after millions of lifetimes, I may take and even have a transcendental body, but I want to survive. He's not just saying eat once in a while, but he's saying I want to survive on the transcendental remnants of the Brijvasis. So, of course, the author himself is born in South India, and the initiated in the Sri Sampradaya, worshippers of Lakshmi Narayan, Prabodhananda Saraswati. He is the brother of Venkata Bhatta, and he was the uncle of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. He met Lord Chaitanya, so he's not considering very much his Brahmin birth or because other castes of society, the Kshatriyas or the Vaishyas, Shudras, etc., they would be very happy and satisfied to get the remnants of a Brahmin Bhojan. Because it's told in Puran that Vishnu, he eats through the mouths of the Brahmins. So he eats in two ways. Vishnu interacts with the Brahmins as Jataragni, the form of Vishnu within the heart. The fire of digestion is a form of Vishnu. So when the Brahmins take the Mahaprasad, then that's also feeding him. He gets food. So that's through their mouth. But then they do yagya. Brahmins do yagya. So with their mouth they chant mantras. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Param Sada Pashyanti. So when they offer yagya, then the fire, the mouth of the fire is Vishnu, yagya vai Vishnu. So in this way, through the Brahmins chant mantras, and those mantras are chanted in such a way that the yagya, the Vishnu, the yagya Purusha, the form of Vishnu in the fire, he eats the mantras, he eats the ghee they throw, and eats the samagri that they throw in the fire. But he's saying that, okay, forget about all that. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagat Hitaya Krishna. He's saying the Brijvasis, I want to survive on their remnants. There was a great devotee in Gaur Leela. We told this story from Chaitanya Charitamrita about Kalidas. So his favorite food was the remnants of the Vaishnavas. So he would go to such an extent, he would buy them food, like especially, and make sure that it was a food they really liked. Just like someone wants to satisfy a devotee in this neighborhood, then he knows the best way to satisfy any devotee around here is to bring them Krishna Balaram Mahaprasad or Jagannath Mahaprasad. Then that devotee that receives that Mahaprasad, he'll be very happy to honor that, and he will honor it and maybe even leave something left. So that's a good trick to do. And then, so he knew that devotees like mangoes and things and whatever, that. So he would buy mangoes, as the example is given. And there was one particular devotee, although Kalidas himself, I believe, was a Brahmin. He was a Brahmin, like Prabhupada Saraswati is a Brahmin. Kalidas was also a Brahmin. Maybe Kali Krishnadas? I think just Kalidas. Kalidas, because there's different Kali Krishnadas and this one. So Kalidas, he was a Brahmin by birth, and he specifically wanted to get the remnants of Jammu Thakur, someone like this, I believe. There's a person in the CC, I think the name is Jammu Thakur. So Thakur means he was in a lower caste than a Brahmin. He was maybe a landholder or something like this, some type of Vaishya or something. Or maybe I think I'm getting Jadu. His name was Jadu Thakur, J-H. Because the reason I'm confused is because there's a deity in Vrindavan called Jammu Thakur, and that means it's a name for Krishna, the deity. And what happened is that his daughter, the daughter of the man that established this deity, she wanted to marry Krishna, a deity or whatever. So then he said, well, he was like a Kshatriya or whatever, not a Kshatriya, but let's say a Jat. And so I don't believe he was a Kshatriya. He was like Zamindar, Vaishya, something like this, much lower caste. Yeah, so the idea was he didn't care about his caste. He thought, well, he's a god brother. He's a follower of Lord Chaitanya. He's accepted Lord Chaitanya. I want his remnants. So Kalidas, his penchant or his passion was to eat the remnants of all the Vaishnavas, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, especially Sajatiya, Snigdha. And then this particular story I'm in the middle of, two stories here, my foot in two boats. So one story is Vrindavan Leela, you can say, contemporary within the last 50 years, or 60, 80 so. There's a temple in Vrindavan called Jammu Thakur. And this particular, the father of the daughter wanted to marry Krishna, so he arranged a deity so she could marry Krishna. She was a kind of a special soul. And the tradition in that family, I believe they were Jats or Zamindars or whatever, is that the son-in-law would be offered a few tokes at the family hookah. And Jats, in Rajasthan, they have these hookahs. Hookah is a big water pipe. There's a basin and a neck, and then the neck is connected to a little, has a little mouthpiece on it. And the mouthpiece connected to a hose. And the hose is very flexible, and that has another narrow mouthpiece on it. And then and it makes sounds, bubble, 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 bubble. Makes these bubbling sounds you may be seen in movies or something, time period movies of early India or something or whatever. And then the father, that was considered a great honor when he would offer the son-in-law the family peace pipe or hookah. It's called hookah, Hookah, hookah. And so then he thought, well, now the deity of Krishna has become my son-in-law, so I accept him as my son-in-law because he married my daughter. I mean, he's living in our house, and somehow it's a different kind of joint family, whatever. Daughter was there with the husband, Krishna deity. So then he on the altar, I don't know these days, I did see in 87 or so, he's called the stepson Thakur or something. Jammu, the word Jammu Thakur or something means the stepson Bhagavan or something like that. Is that stepson? Is that what you call it? Like the father, the wife of the father's daughter. I mean, the husband of the father's daughter is what to the father? Son-in-law. At any rate, so that deity is there, and next to Krishna deity is a hookah. I don't know if he uses it or not, but it's there. So Jaru Thakur belonged to the Buni Mali. Mali? Mali means like I was in my village here, they were telling me, because I was trying to understand, they say Chamar, they say Bungi, they say Mali, they have there's many different, Komar, there's Kumar is with horses, and horse carts, and clay cooler pots, and, water mudkas. So I said, what's the thing here? Because he said, he's a Mali, he's a this, that. Where are they? He said, they're all Shudras. And they're all Shudra class, lowest class. And the worst one is the, maybe Chamar, because they eat the pigs and stuff. Then there's the Bungis, who may or may not eat pigs, but Bungi's a little higher. Then higher than that is the Mali or Kumar. And Kumar is the Patwala, horsewala. Then the Mali is flowers and sabji. Mali. Like Krishna became a Mali sometimes. Like catch the flower. Pushpachora Leela, or Radharani stealing flowers from Kamadev's private garden. Kandarpa Maharaj's private garden, and Krishna is appointed as a Mali in charge of protecting that garden from the thieves, the gopi thieves, gopi choris. Gopi thieves. And so he apprehended one big thief one day, caught her red-handed. Her hands were always red, but he caught her red-handed. He caught Radharani. He had a gumsha, and he had a gumsha wrapped around his top knot, and he had another gumsha on his waist, and he had a stick and this and that, and he was in charge, Tekadar. He was in charge of the Bagicha, full Bagicha, Kusan Sarovar. So he caught Radharani, and this big penalty was levied, and she had to go to the court. She had to go not to Yamaraj's court, but she went to Kamadeva's, Kandarparaj. Kandarparaj is the Lord of Love. Kamadev is called Kandarpa. So she was taken to the court, and she was tried actually there in that court, in Kandarpa. And Radharani and many Sakhis were found guilty as charged of this severe crime of stealing mogra flowers and Jui flowers. So then the judge, he issued a punishment, and he told the Mali to execute it properly, make sure they get fully punished. So the sentence that Kandarpa said, you must take this Radharani into a cave, Giri Kandara, into a cave in Govardhan, and you must, for at least 6 hours, you must punish her severely. Just beat her, scratch her, bite her, whatever it takes to get her to admit that she stole my precious flowers. Otherwise, I can't tell you what the next line of punishment is. So then Krishna's Amali, he said, okay, I'll try my best to execute your order. So then the prisoner was handed over to the Mali and escorted to the jail. And I heard everything came out all right, and the prisoner survived the punishment, and the Mali was happy with the tariff that was collected. And this is the Pushpa Chori Leela. Pushpa Chori Leela. Sri Krishna Bhagavan Ki Jai. So this is Vrindavan. We're talking about Vrindavan Mahimamrita. That's the title of the book. It means the great wonderful glories of Vrindavan. So ultimately it's the birds, it's the remnants, it's the Brijvasis, but the ultimate Brijvasis and the ultimate Vrindavan is Radha Shyam and the Kunjas of Vrindavan and the in the rivers of Vrindavan, in the lakes of Vrindavan, on the mountains of Vrindavan, in the forests of Vrindavan, everywhere in Vrindavan. Yashoda's working for this, and the cowherd boys, and everyone's working for this, to bring Radha and Krishna together. Because Yashoda could say, Krishna, we have hundreds, and she even pleads sometimes, we have thousands of servants, thousands of gwals, they can all take the cows out. Why do you insist? Oh, Mom, I really have to go out with the cows. You're the prince, you're the Yuvaraj. Nanda Nandan, you're Yashoda Dulal. No, Mommy, we're so bored in the palace, all these 50 rooms. Nanda Baba's palace is so small, only 50 rooms. Pachas kamra, right? And but Dao and I, we get bored. Right, Dao? Right? Yeah, that's right. Kanaya is right. We get very bored over here. And no. Look, we'll bring in. Listen, boys. We'll bring in jugglers. We'll bring in magic shows. We'll bring in storytellers. We'll bring in joke tellers. Well, so many things we'll bring in. You'll be entertained. And Brahmins will recite the Puranas and we'll sing bhajans and you can learn music and all these things. Oh, Janani, no. We don't like all these things. You do these things. In the nighttime you have the Royal Theatre and these jugglers and the acrobats and these guys balancing saucers on their nose and things like that. But we just tolerate it because you think we like it. We'd rather crawl off and go to sleep and dream about the cows in the pastures. Even in our sleep, we want to be with the cows, because he speaks this word cows in such a way that it means cows. It means gopis also. Even if our sleep, we want Janani, mother. In our sleep we want to dream of the cows, which means gopis, and in the daytime we want to run behind the cows, which means run behind the gopis. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, jai jai Shri Radhe. In the land of Rasa. So Vrindavan is also personal. There's the goddess of Radhakund, Radharani, and the Lord of Shamakund, Sham. It's water. No, there's a goddess here. The goddess of this water is Radharani. This is her energy. This is her Shakti. And there's this water here that's called Shamakund. No, it's not a Kund named Sham. It's Sham. It's the energy of the conscious person, the absolute person, Sham. We go to Manasi Ganga. Well, there's Manasi Devi there. Everywhere there's Sankhet. You go to Sankhet Van and there's Sankhet Devi and Varsana Devi. Devi, you've heard of Mukti Devi. Mukti Swayam Mukulitanjali Sevate Sman. It's told. Bilamangala Thakur, Krishna Karnamrita. Mukti Swayam. Personification of Mukti means a personality. Mukti Devi. She stands with Mukulitanjali Sevate Sman. With folded hands waiting to serve the devotee. He says, no thanks, I'm busy now. No interest in liberation. Who wants $100 when you have $1 million? Like, I'll give you $100. No, that's all right. Thanks. No, really, it's really wonderful. It's $100. Why aren't you? Everyone else is interested in my $100. Why not you? Because I have $1 million. You have the service of Radha and Krishna and Sri Guru. Millions of dollars. Mukti's bankrupt. Mukti's gone bankrupt compared to the devotees. Mukti approaches the devotees and takes a loan. Mukti takes housing loans from the devotees. It's a very beautiful verse. Alas, when will that auspicious day arrive when the actual glories of Vrindavan will be manifested to me? The scriptures can't even touch a millionth portion of its wonderful glories. That's a fact. Any place is like that. Like you read some book about Hawaii, and they say, oh, it seems so wonderful. But then you go there and say, well, wait a minute. This book really falls short. This paper, these words, these photographs, even materially. They describe, you read a book about the Himalayas. Say read a book about Himalayas, very popular books, and these kind of stores, bookshops, travel and tours. The Himalayas, beautiful pictures and high-powered lenses and expert photographers in black and white and color. It looks very attractive. But it's nothing like climbing the Himalayas. The experience, the ambience, the sounds, the colors, the intensity of colors and the light and the radiance and the grandeur and the power of the mountains and the radiation of energy and power from the mountains. I mean, it's something different, isn't it? Even materially, we have that experience that, some National Geographic pictures of some tigers or some lions in the African plains, really great photographs, but then you go there and see the lion. It's a little different. The pictures of the lions don't roar. They haven't developed the technology. When you look at a picture of a lion, it goes rah. It doesn't happen. So the same thing. What to speak? That's materially. You can only get an approximation of the thing with words and pictures. But the hands-on experience is something transcendental. So similarly, but that's just some pale comparison or pale representation of the material actual place or object. But the spiritual reality of Vrindavan, even the scriptures that describe Vrindavan, they can't actually touch a 1/1,000,000th portion of its wonderful glories. Like you may read a book, Appreciating Sri Vrindavan Dham. So then you read so many wonderful things there. Then when you come here, then the dimension is so much different. You can't hear, when you read about the wind or the trees of Vrindavan, you can't feel them. You can't embrace the trees. Like it's written in there about the trees are polished. The trees of Sevakunj and Radhakund are polished by repeated embraces of loving devotees. There's a phrase like that. The trees of Vrindavan are smoothly polished by the repeated embraces of surrendered devotees. There's a phrase like that, describing the trees of Vrindavan. There's one chapter there. I know, I'm familiar with this book. And although it was 20 years ago, because those are very deep impressions that came on. The artist, the poet, the photographer, the writer, they have a different type of different sensitivities and perceptions than the ordinary person. And that's arranged by God. The sensitivities and powers and perceptions are given by God to share, open up the glories and vibhuti of God to others. Like a man he's seeing the world in a microscope and so many amazing things, and he says, "Hey, look," and then he shares his view through the microscope, and oh wow, well, look at that, mitochondria and Golgi complex and all these things, vacuoles and flagella and all these other wild little things down there. So then he lets you look through the microscope and see all the amazing things on the slide, because he has that facility, he has the microscope. The same way, the devotee, he has some facility given to him by the Lord to reveal the Lord to others, the vibhutis of the Lord, the beauty and the sweetness and the specialities of the Lord's creation. That's why these great personalities like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, and of course our Srila Prabhupada, their tikas and commentaries on the sacred scriptures like Bhagavat Puran, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Chaitanya Charitamrita and others are so valuable because they're what we call insightful. They give us sight into the unknown. Insight means they extend our sight into unknown regions. Insightful. And that was an insightful lecture, insightful piece of writing. It extends our sight into regions of the unknown and imperceptible to our ordinary vision. So then they're invaluable, and 500 years later we're relishing and deeply relishing and appreciating commentaries of the great saints and those giants of perception and those masters of devotion who were able to reveal these insight, scoops, you can say, secrets of the Leelas, the conversations, the feelings, how Arjuna is feeling on a battlefield, and the inner mental dialogue of Arjuna as he's hearing the instructions of Krishna. When Krishna said this, Arjuna was feeling like this and thinking of saying that, and anticipating that Arjuna might say that, then Krishna said his next verse. These are the tikas of Vishnath and Bhagavad Gita, which you must have seen. And then the same thing when the Bhagavad Gita. You're amazed. How does he know what he's anticipating, what he's what he knows what Krishna, he knows what God's thinking, he knows what God's devotees thinking, and he knows what they're both thinking 5,000 years ago. That's called Trikalagya. Trikalagya. The ability to see through three phases of time. Yeah. Not only lokik time, lokik kal, material time, lokik kal, but alokik kal, divya kal, divya samay, transcendental time. What's going on in the spiritual dimension? Because that's the fourth dimension beyond the material perception. The fourth dimension beyond the material perception is the soul world. The Atma world, the world of the jivas, and the world of spiritual energy. Because God and His devotees, His parishads, are all members of that plane, the absolute plane of highest transcendence, beyond, and far, far beyond the limited scope of this material world. Look at these great personalities. They represent different levels of devotion. Brahma, Shiva, Lakshmi, Shukadev, Arjuna, Uddhav, they cannot get the darshan of the confidential form of Vrindavan, page 615. Shrisha, that means Shiva. Brahma, Shuka, Arjuna, Uddhav, Mukha, Pashyanti, Yana Kvachit. Pashyanti, Mukha, Yana, Ana Kvachit. Yana, Pashyanti, Yana, Mukha. That chief, that main form they can't see. Vrajavasi apina drisyam kada loke. When kada loke, kada kurishisimam kripa katakshabhajanam. Kada. When will I ever get that vision? When will I ever see this beautiful damsel, this beautiful goddess of Brajadevi, Vrindadevi. Vrindadevi is Vrindavan. Vrindavan is Vrindadevi. She's a Devi. She's a goddess. She's a conscious being. And this is all her. The trees are her dress, and the grasses are her hairs of her body, and the clouds are her hairstyle. And the birds are her singing, and the rivers are her moods. She's Vrindavan, beautiful Devi. She's living here for the pleasure of Krishna. And will she show us her true form? She will when we show our true form. It's 50-50. I'll meet you halfway. What's our true form? Jivera Surupaya Krishnara Das Anudas. When we actually show our true form and not our true colors, and our true form is Krishna's eternal surrendered servants with no separate agenda, ulterior motives, and private programs, then we may have darshan of Vrindadevi, Radha, and Krishna together. So who can see Vrindavan as Shri Vrindavan as she really is? Someone who, what? Shri Vrindavanam. Shri Vrindavanam. Rupam Adbhutam. Rupam Adbhutam. The amazing form of Vrindavan. Who can see Kada Lokaye? Kada Lok, this goes together. Drishyam, Yat Drishyam Kada Lokaye Shri Vrindavana Rupam Adbhutam. This is the question. It starts with Kada who? Kada. When? Kada when? When will I see? Kada Krishna. When will I get the mercy? Kada Lokaye. When will I see? What? Shri Vrindavan Dham Vishaya Charya Kabe Shuddha Habe Man Kabe Ha Meherabho Shri Vrindavan Dham. This is our real form. When we show our real form, then we can see the real form of Vrindavan. What is our real form? Vishayacharya Shuddha Haveman. When we throw out Vishayacharya, Charya means Chodye, Chodye, Charya, Vishayacharya Kabe Shuddha Haveman, Shuddha Haveman. When will my mind, my man, be Shuddh, pure? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Matsarya, sab out. Chordo, gone, chalega, khatam ho gaya. Then Shri Vrindavan Dham. As Prabhupada so deeply, beautifully, bhavically, pramically sang. So much bhav in his voice. Vishayacharya kabe Shuddha Haveman kabe hama herabho Shri Vrindavan Dham. You ever heard? You think, wow, I'm a long way from Shuddhaman. Shuddhaman. Shuddhaman? Shuddhaman? What's man backwards? No. Shuddhanam. No Shuddhanam? N-A-M? Nam. M-A-N? Mind in Sanskrit. No Shuddhanam? No Shuddhaman. So that's our real form. Pure mind. Pure desire. Pure actions. Then when we show that pure mind, then Vrindavan says, yes, you've been here for so long, and you've come here so many times, and you visit here so many times, and so many lifetimes you've come, and now you finally, I've had my true form all along, waiting to show you. Here I am. But you've been hiding yourself behind your lust. You've been hiding your true form behind your greed. Hiding your true form behind your envy. Hiding your true form behind your lust. And all those aparads, what are those all about? They make you stink. Not only have bad clothes, but you stink. You're covered with bad clothes and you haven't bathed either, so it's one thing to wear crappy clothes and you also stink. So what makes a devotee stink? Aparads. And what covers him? Lust, anger, greed, envy. These are his coverings. And he becomes stinky when he has aparads. I can't tell you where that comes from. That's kind of a poetic license, they can say. That's a fact. Everyone can agree that aparads are like dead bodies. So this is a great fortune. Radhapadika Ashraya. Aham Radhapadika Ashraya. I have one shelter, the lotus feet of Radha. Radharani. So it's a very nice verse about the vision that the Brijvasis have. Yeah, when will she exhibit a real form? So Brijvasis can see the real form of Vrindavan because they're surrendered to Radharani. A Brijvasi is one who's connected to Radharani, isn't it? Yeah. That's why, what's the mantra in Vrindavan? Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe. What do they say? Radhe Radhe. I was staying at Dhira Damodara temple in Prabhupada's rooms in 1989 or so, 1990. And that's the habit. That's every Vrindavan. All Brijvasis, they greet each other by saying Radhe Radhe. And any other village in North India, people greet each other by saying Ram Ram Sab, Ram Ram Sab, Ram Ram Sab. So this is, you can travel the length and breadth of India, which we did, and you won't find anywhere people saying Radhe Radhe. Nowhere. Not even Navadvip, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri. Impossible. Jai Jagannath! Jai Jagannath! Jai Jagannath! Jai Jagannath! Chakadar. They say Chakadar. Raktadar, Chakadar. But here it's Radhe Radhe. It's Radhe Radhe. It's the password, everyone says. So that means that Brijvasis can see the real form of Vrindavan, because the real form of Vrindavan is Vrindadevi and Radharani. So the real form of Vrindavan is contained in the real name of Radharani. Radharani's name contains Radharani's form. Radharani's form contains her attributes. With those attributes, Radharani engages in so many pastimes with Shyam Sundar. This is 10th entry, or Brijvasis serve Radharani. Well, that's interesting. So these are all points of the Brijvasis. They're all Chinmaya. There's no faults, the value of any contact, what vision they have. And this point is how the Brijvasis serve Radharani. It's chapter 11, verse 106. Pamartha Pancheva Brahmanam, together. Pamartha Pancheva Brahmanam, Iya Vishva Vidadate, Sadanonde Vrindavanagata, Janer Atma Kalane, Ihastanam Tvaitat Parama, Kripya Pron Madamaha, Rasoga Shirada Pada, Juga, Jusham Kwapi Najushi. According to the vision of the blissful resonance of Vrindavan, the 5 goals of human life can be seen wandering about Vrindavan. Panchapurushartha. Panchapurushartha Brahmanam. Brahmanam means Brahmanda Brahmateko and Bhagavan Jeev. That's Vishwag. They're wandering about Vrindavan. But the vision of the servants of Sri Radha's lotus feet, from which flows an ocean of transcendental mellows, it does not divert from the mercy of Sri Radha. So that's very interesting, that from the lotus feet of Radha, there's an ocean of transcendental mellows. Maharasoga. Oga means ocean. Maharas. Pranmada Maharasoga Shirada Pada Yuga. From the para Shirada Pada Yuga. Shirada Pada Radha Pada Yuga. From the pair of Radharani's feet, Maharasoga means an ocean, flows in a transcendental ocean. And Jusham Kwapi Nadrishi, they don't go anywhere. Their vision doesn't, the devotee, the Brijvasi's vision doesn't wander anywhere from the lotus feet of Radharani. What's that? What the verse is saying is, even in the face of so many allurements or enticements or distractions or invitations from lust, kam, art, dharma, art, kam, moksha, or even prem, Vaikuntha prem. Pancha Purushartha says, Pumartha Panchaiva Brahmanam. Pum Artha, Puma means Pumsa, man, living entity. Art means desirable objects. Panchaiva means 5. Dharma, Art, Kam, Moksha, Prem. It's 5. Like we said, Prem Purushartha. Lord Chaitanya has come to teach the Prem Purushartha, the 5th goal of human life. They're wandering around, personified. Dharma is wandering around Vrindavan. You see what the verse is saying? Brahmanam. Dharma is wandering around, personified. You want Dharma? You want religiousness? Yama niyama, religiousness, morality, all kinds of vidhis and vidhi nisheda, shastra nisheda, rules, regulations, and all kinds of yogis and pujas. You want religiosity? Okay, here, I'll give it to you. No, thanks. I'm fixed on Radha's feet, on the flow of mercy of Radha's feet. And then art, money personifies wandering around Vrindavan. You want money? You want name, fame, gain, profit? Take it, I'll give it to you. Because Vrindavan is a wish-fulfilling place. This is another way of saying it. The ground is wish-fulfilling, the trees are wish-fulfilling. So wish means there's 5 basic categories of wishes. I want liberation and Vaikuntha prem. I want out. I want to go back home, back to God. Let me out of here. Give me prem. Give me a ticket out of here. Give me a ticket for the Prem Airlines, the Liberation Express. Give me a Prem ticket for the Liberation.
Adipurusha Dhammam Bhajami Govinda Adipurusha Dhammam Bhajami Govinda Adipurusha Dhammam Bhajami Venukanathamaravindranayakasha Parhavatam samasitam buddhasundaram Mangalpakodvikamaniya Visheshasya Tobam Govinda Adipurusha Bhajami Anjani Yasya Sakle Niyaveti Manti Prashanti Vanti Karyanti Chiram Jaganti Anjana Chilmaya Jala Vigrahasya Govinda Adipurusha Dhammam Bhajami Govinda Adipurusha Dhammam Bhajami
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitina
Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityayamine
Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashatya Deshatarine
Namaste
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashatya Aura Bhakta Vrinda
Prabhu Nityananda Priyadvaita Gadadara Shiva Swami Gaurya Bhakta Vrinda
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadara Shiva Swami Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Nityananda Priyadvaita Gadadara Shiva Swami Gaurya Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Prasadi, Gora Bhakta
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Baba आनंद प्रिय कृष्ण सुभाषित बारी सबे मुख प्रकालय हरे सरी सरी अष्ट मुख प्रकालिया जत सक गाने आनंद विश्राम करे बलदेव साने जम्बुल रसालाने शम्बुल मसाला ताहाके कृष्ण चंद्र सुखे निद्रा गेला विशालाकाशिकी पूछा क्षमर दुलाया अपूर्व सयाय कृष्ण सुखे निरयाय यशोमती अंग प्रिय धनिष्ठय नीतो श्री कृष्ण प्रसाद राधा कुंजे हये प्रीत ललितारी साकी गाना अवशेष पाया मने मने सुखे राधा कृष्ण गुण गाया हरि लीला एकमात्र जहार प्रमोद भोगारती गाय ठाकुर भक्ति विनोद भक्त वत्सल श्री गौर हरि भज भक्त वत्सल श्री गौर हरि श्री गौर हरि सहि गोष्ठ बिहारी श्री गौर हरि सहि गोष्ठ बिहारी नंद यशोमती चित हरि नंद यशोमती चित हरि भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला भज गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला
मधुरं मधुरेभ्यो मे मङ्गलेभ्यो मे मङ्गलम् मधुरं मधुरेभ्यो मे मङ्गलेभ्यो मे पावनं पावनेभ्यो मे हरे नामैव केवलम् पावनं पावनेभ्यो मे हरे नामैव केवलम् 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 ब्रह्मास्तम्भपर्यन्तम् सर्वं मायामयं जगत् ब्रह्मास्तम्भपर्यन्तम् सर्वं मायामयं जगत् सत्यं सत्यं
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna,